FOJ 69. Nice. What's up, Jay?
Jeff, how are you?
How old am I?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Our 14-year-old brain is sometimes takes over.
My lizard brain.
Yeah,
How's it going?
that's all right. It's good, man. How are you?
Good. You had a big road trip.
I did. I drove to Texas and back not this past week, but last week, and spent some time with my son Joshua and his baseball team, and saw Jeff and Katie one evening for dinner, and had a wonderful time. Road trip all by myself, big boy stuff, and it was a blast, man. I had a great time.
It's good. How'd the baseball team do?
Baseball team did not do very well. Baseball in Chicagoland is a little bit different than baseball in Texas. Baseball in Texas, the guys are bigger, the guys are stronger, they throw harder, and they hit the ball further. So, I think the boys went like 2-7, but the experience was good. They saw probably as good of an opponent as they'll ever see in their season in Chicago, which is the point of the whole trip, to kind of prepare them for their season here. And so far it's worked because they've won their first 2 games since coming back. So that's good. But, we had fun. I got to eat some meals with my son, which was great. And he spent some time with some friends, which is good. It was a spring break trip. And like I said, I got to see Jeff and Katie, and it was great.
So any highlights on the food circuit?
Oh, man. So our last episode, we talked about, I believe it was Stanley's barbecue. If you recall, I did go there the very next day before I headed out of town from Tyler, Texas. And I got to tell you, man, it was awesome. First off, the ambiance of this place was great. It was like one of those places where, the garage doors open, and they obviously have live music there Friday and Saturday night. And it was, just kind of like a patio feel on the inside. Tables are nothing fancy or anything like that, but just really cool ambiance. I walked up and I asked the young lady cashier, I'm like, suggest something to me. I'm from out of town. She asked me where I was from. I told her Chicago, and she's like, oh my God, what are you doing here? What are you doing here in Tyler, Texas? And I'm like, well, I told her. And she's like, okay, how about she set me up with the ribs and the, what do they call it? The jalapeno cheddar sausage combo, and with a little mac and cheese and a little homemade coleslaw, and phenomenal, 10 out of 10, outstanding.
Was the sausage spicy?
Yes.
The jalapenos, right? Yeah.
Yes, it was, and it was really, really good.
Was that the highlight? Do you think that was the best thing you ate, or is there more?
At that place, the sausage was probably the best. The ribs were good. Good. I got the sauce on the side.
I know. I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and the picture you sent me, I'm like, damn, that looks good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah, food was 10 out of 10. Service was 10 out of 10. Manager, I guess cashier told manager that I was in from out of town. Manager came up. I was eating by myself. It's like, hey, I hear you're from out of town, from Chicago. What do you think? And I told him how awesome the food was. And he's like, well, hey, really appreciate you coming in. And he goes, I hear you're heading out of town today, but he gave me a coupon he goes, if you ever come back, this thing is good forever. So
that's great.
Coupon for a free meal. That was pretty cool.
Oh, way to go, Stanley.
Yeah. So Stanley's in Tyler, Texas. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I highly recommend.
Okay, so they gave you a coupon for what?
Free meal, free entree.
Free entree. Okay, and they knew you were going out of town, and so
yes.
the return on that is probably pretty low, right? You're probably not coming back anytime soon. But
probably, I think
from a customer service standpoint,
yeah, it's more about the gesture.
Yes, exactly. So now we're really talking about it on the world famous FOJ show to our millions of listeners. Right?
That's right.
So Stanley's in, was it Tyler, Texas?
Tyler, Texas. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's little stuff like that is like golden. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
So that was good. And then the other highlight food-wise from that trip was from a place called Bubba's.
Bubba's?
Yes. Very similar, probably, I would say Chili's meets a sports bar.
Okay.
Atmosphere, if that makes any sense at all. A lot of burgers. They did the fajitas, chicken sandwiches, pretty much an expanded Chili's menu. But, the total restaurant was, I I guess more of like a Buffalo Wild Wings feel,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. TVs everywhere and all that kind of jazz. Had the what is it, the avocado burger?
Okay.
Again, 10 out of 10, man. One of the better burgers I've had in a long time.
Was it better
And
or worse than the In-N-Out you showed me?
I thought it was better,
Mhm.
honestly.
I've never had In-N-Out, so for whatever reason, and not for any reason other than I just haven't.
Okay, I'll get to them in a minute.
Okay.
But Bubba's really good. Joshua had a smash burger, and I had the jalapeno burger, and both were really good. Joshua's words, his was fire, and as the kids say, when they say things are fire, that means they're awesome.
Yeah, well, as Paris
And
Hilton used to say, that's hot.
that's right. That's right. So, so yeah. Again, 10 out of 10. Service was great, and I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people where if something's really good, I go out of my way to tell people because I
Yeah.
remember when I worked in the restaurant business side, I always used to really appreciate when people told me when things were good because you always hear about the bad
Mhm.
and you never really heard about the good. You just assume that if people leave without telling you anything, that it was good. So I try to at least just a quick, hey, just want to let you know food was awesome tonight. Thank you so much. That kind of thing. So
Mhm.
really, really good. In-N-Out, I've had In-N-Out before. It's been a long time, but I have had In-N-Out. It's mostly I think it's an out west, down south type deal.
It's a
I know
fast
they're
food joint.
yeah, I know they're huge in California.
Yep.
It's good. I don't think it's out of this world good. I give it like a 7.
Yeah. It's
You
kind of what
know,
I figured. It's kind
yeah,
of just
it's
standard. Is it?
yeah.
Would you say it's closer to a Wendy's or a McDonald's or a Burger King?
I would say Wendy's.
Wendy's. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
And I don't know
yeah.
why you said Burger King because I can't remember the last time I had Burger King.
Well, because that's like the big three, right? The
Yeah, the big
Wendy's,
three, I
Burger
guess.
King, and
I guess I
McDonald's.
would assume they're closer to Wendy's. I
Yeah,
do prefer Wendy's more than McDonald's, but I
I
will
do
not.
too.
I won't kick either out of bed for kicking crackers. If you know what I'm saying.
No, I hear you. I
Yeah.
feel that. But yeah, In-N-Out was good. I guess what is it? If you order, and I did not do this, but I guess the big deal there is like to order the burgers. I think it's what is it, animal style, where it gives you grilled onions and a certain toppings on it, and it doesn't. They don't advertise on the menu, but you're supposed to say that and you get grilled onions on it or what that. I did not do that. I just did like a mayo-less tomato, and yeah, like I said, 7 out of 10.
Okay,
No
that's
big
fine.
deal.
Well, you had Bubba's and you had
Right.
Stanley's. So
I also had a place called I had tacos. A place called I think it was called Rico's Tacos. It was right around the corner from my hotel. I got like a mini burrito and 2 street tacos from them. And again, really good. I figured, hey, Texas probably does Mexican food pretty well. This was spicy as hell. And if you like hot stuff, their green salsa, which up north, green salsa is the mild. Down there, their green salsa was hot. So I don't know if the red is even hotter than what I had, or if the red salsa down there is the mild and they flip flop it. But this green salsa was hot stuff, but it was really good. Um, I had steak all the way around, and yeah, definite. I would probably give that a 9. It was good. Rice and beans were great, and what I liked about it, it was fast. But I was the only person in the restaurant, and I got it to go. And it was at like 4:30 in the afternoon, so it's not like it was dinner time or anything. But the cook came out and made sure everything was cool, and thanked me for coming in. And I'm guessing he was maybe the cook slash owner. But yeah, it was. I took it back to my hotel, and it was really good.
that's good. What was it called? Rico's?
Rico's Tacos, yes.
Rico's Tacos.
And that was technically, I guess, in Plano.
Okay. Yeah, that's up closer to like where I think Cruz is at, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, excuse me. Then I met Jeff and Katie at a place called Hutchins Barbecue, which I am drinking a water from Hutchins right now
Mm-hmm.
in their cup as I brought home as a souvenir. Jeff and Katie recommended it, and talk about filling.
Yeah.
This place, the portion sizes were enormous. And again, I got to sample the ribs. I got a little bit of brisket. I got a little beef brisket. I got again jalapeno sausage, which was really good. And then I got a side of macaroni cheese. I sampled their mashed potatoes and their green beans. And all 6 of those items were phenomenal. I had leftovers that I ate the next morning as I was leaving town. And what is it? Jeff even said, he's like, you got to have, what is it? They had 2 desserts and I forget what they were, but I'm like, I don't have any room for dessert. I mean, you could got soft serve ice cream. I think there was a pie and some kind of pudding there, like a rice pudding or something like that. And just really over the top. And this place was packed. And we were there probably from about 5:30, 5:45, and we closed it down at 9. And yeah, I was definitely full. But
That's great.
yeah, another 10 out of 10. Sounds good.
I mean, this sounds like a pretty successful trip all in all with all the food excursions.
It was excellent. And then we went to the last day. I actually drove up to Oklahoma City. Well, first on my way there, I had to stop off at a Buc-ee's gas station. You ever been to a Buc-ee's?
I've never been to one, but I know that they are like legendary.
Yeah,
and there's one coming, I think, to North Carolina sometime soon.
Okay, so I stopped on the Buc-ee's in Denton, Texas.
Okay,
not to be confused with Mike Denton, but Denton, Texas. And I stopped there, got gas, and this is a gas station that's probably got about 50 pumps. Like, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And inside they've got the retail store, they've got the food, they've got the truck stop, everything's in there. And I got one of the better fried chicken sandwiches to go that I've ever had. It was that good. Along the lines of like a Popeyes or to where they serve the fried chicken, whatever sauce they have, and pickles, and that's it. But really good.
Buc-ee's is supposed to be one of those companies that are just really good to work for. Like, they pay well, take care of their employees. They run a nice, tight ship. Everybody seems to love like going there. The bathrooms are apparently legendarily like clean for like a gas station type place.
They had a ton of people on staff, but again, the place was packed, and this was a Saturday. Was it Saturday? Friday morning. Excuse me, Friday morning. And it was packed. So, but yeah, Buc-ee's was good. And then the one restaurant we went to in Oklahoma City, I'm trying to remember, I think it was like Stella's Garage or Smitty's Garage or something like that. Again, burger place. I got a bison avocado burger this time, and again, phenomenal.
What'd you think? Have you had bison before?
I have, and you don't find it very many places.
No.
Not a whole lot of places serve it anymore, but they had it, so I gave it a shot, and it was fantastic. They had the big monster onion rings, so I got those, and really good. And then Joshua and his buddy, they got burgers as well, and really liked what they had too. So the food on this trip, honest to God, was just from start to finish was great, and I made it a point to not go anywhere that I could get at home, because obviously, McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, all that BS, you can get all that here. So I tried to go to places that I can't get here.
See, that's the way to do it.
And I'm glad I did. Was
Shop
not
local,
disappointed.
Eat local, small little places, little hidden gems, place like that.
That's right. So yeah, it was awesome.
That's great. I didn't have anywhere near as exciting. I was in Charlotte most of the week for work, doing my first, I guess, quasi photo, movie directorial debut type thing for some work stuff that I'm working on. So
how'd that go?
It went okay. I think, I was trying to figure out like what it is that they wanted and sort of like how to shoot it. And I wish I had brought a different camera with me. Once I found out that I was there, but it was interesting, trying to put together like these basically little 3-minute videos on like this topic for work and try to make it as visually interesting and high quality as possible. So we'll see.
Now, did you incorporate any AI into that, or?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It was basically just shooting the videos, so I was definitely behind the camera on this one and
Okay.
kind of giving direction and thoughts like, okay, let's try this, and let's try this angle, camera, lighting, things like that. But it wasn't this huge production. It was basically me and with a couple cameras trying to figure out, how do we make this look as best as we possibly can.
Sure.
And then giving some direction to our talent who was, on there. And,
Yeah.
there's a big thing for, at least for me, I can sense when there's like chemistry between people, right, on the conversation. Like, hopefully our chemistry comes across because we've known each other so freaking long, right? We
Yeah.
know each other pretty well. And despite the fact that we live like 800 miles apart, it's still the same conversations, right? It's kind of like
Absolutely.
sitting on the couch on Beaubien or Murphy or whatever it was.
Murphy Drive.
Right.
That's right.
That's what these conversations are like.
Nice.
And I got to tell you, there was not good chemistry on this one.
Ooh.
It was very stiff and kind of corporate. And the best conversation that took place probably will stay on the cutting room floor because it was, one of the people trying to convince the other person of why something should be. Instead of it being like this overly produced and sort of like stiffed type thing. And I was like, man, that's like the best part. Like,
yeah,
explaining like, the person had an answer and was like, well, hold on a second, basically I kept the cameras rolling the entire time, but was like, okay, let's, I guess the answer wasn't what the other person was expecting. And then they had like 5 minutes back and forth, which I thought was like, this is what you guys should be doing,
Yeah.
But that's not what they wanted. But I was like thinking to myself after the fact, after I edited, a couple of the clips and kind of put them together, kind of how I thought they would flow. I was like, man, that's like the best part.
Okay.
And then the other part was like a rapid fire lightning round type thing where it's like, give me brief thoughts on the Bears. Go. Give me, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And it was like a bunch of topics that are like that, and that felt a little more kind of like natural versus like this rehearsed kind of polished, sterile kind of thing. So if I get the chance to do it again, and we shot like 4 or 5 shorts basically. So there's about a month and a half worth of content that we probably already have.
Okay.
I think we'll see how those go and then make some adjustments.
Now, you said this is for work, so these are obviously people in your field. They just didn't, the personalities didn't mesh, or did they try to kind of outdo each other? If that makes sense?
It was definitely not that. I think it was one person who's just not kind of used to being in front of a camera and microphone and talking, and then the other one who is very good, like a very good consultant, but is somewhat dry and almost like a vanilla news anchor type thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
but he's not like that in real life. Like he can, he definitely has fun. I think that's one of the things like we're talking about is like, okay, let's let her hair down a little bit. Let's show some personality, and I think that will go better next time. But again, going in, we had like 6 hours. It's like, all right, what are you guys trying to do? Let's figure it out on the fly. And, we're in a conference room and it's just like, whatever. I was like, all right, well, next time I'll bring my camera drone and I'll mic you guys up and we'll walk to the park and you guys just have a talk in the park and I'll have my camera drone follow you.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, stuff like that, but it's like, okay, now that I kind of get a sense of what their thing is, it's like, all right, I have a better idea how to do it next time. But I wish I brought a different camera because I needed something with a little bit of zoom to kind of capture it the way I wanted to. And the cameras that I have didn't have to zoom.
Gotcha. Well, sounds like you're like raising your production game. First you got the.
I'm trying.
I know.
I want things to look good, sound good.
Yeah, you got the pot first, and now you put out an AI generated album, and now you've got a full fledged, sounds like video short type deal for work. And yeah, I'm impressed, man.
And I just earlier today finished my April Fool's episode of my other podcast.
Oh, okay.
And so it is I went shorter this time, but I think it's higher quality. It's about 12 and a half minutes. of 100% AI and, voice cloning and all kinds of stuff. We'll see how it turns, how it reacts in the real world, but we'll see. But I just finished that like this morning because I'll be in California all this coming week starting tomorrow.
Right. Right.
So it's like, all right, I got to get all this stuff done.
When will that be released?
April 1st. It's April Fool's.
Hello.
So yeah, we got a normal episode on Monday, which we've already kind of recorded. And the one that's coming out the 30th, I wasn't part of that one. I was in Charlotte. I had to get out here. So
yeah.
So I edited it, and that one's okay. I think one of the questions that we ask when we first start off our interviews is, how did you get into this space, basically? And I like this guy. I've met him in real life several times. I'd say he's a work friend, type person in our industry, kind of cool guy. But he took 15 minutes to talk about how he got into the space, and usually we're at 2 or 3 minutes of all right, give us the Cliff Notes version. We don't need the full, Wikipedia article. Give me just the first paragraph.
I need your life story, man. How'd you get here?
Yeah. But, it was fine. It turned out fine. So it's, it's a good conversation. So there's that on Monday. And then I think April 1st is Tuesday? No, Wednesday. And so Wednesday, my April Fool's episode come out. And I have not run this by my co-host. He thinks I'm doing something else.
Oh, I love it. That's even better.
It'll be a bit of a surprise and a little bit of a third person type of perspective.
So let's talk here. So April 1st is a week from Wednesday.
Yep.
So, a quarter of 2026 is almost over.
I know, it's crazy, man.
I swear to God, time flies. And it's incredible how quickly life moves. Because I remember as a kid, I didn't feel like life moved this quickly as a kid. School year would take forever, and
summer moved quicker than you wanted. It was the first week was oh, this is great after summer break, and then it just seemed like the days got shorter and time moved faster the closer you got to August.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but we would go back to school in August.
Yeah, we do here as well, and did back then too. So yeah, now it's middle of August. But yeah, and it just would go by quickly. And then what I do like though is we've sprung forward on daylight savings. So now the sun's not going down till after 7:30, things like that. That's finally taken place. I hate it when the sun goes down at 5. It bugs me. I can't stand that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
It was a nice day here. I think we hit 75 or something like that.
Say here as well. It was beautiful. I think my car said 78.
Yeah.
But we're back down in the 50s, I think, tomorrow. So it's a weird time in Chicago. I mean, Tuesday, the high, I think, was
get those big swings.
The high was 19 and we had snow on the ground. And then by Thursday, it was 65. It's just very strange, but it's every year. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm flying out to California tomorrow with my darling wife. So we've got funeral related activities going on.
Where do you fly into?
Flying into San Jose, and then we'll drive south from there to Pacific Grove area. So we don't get in until probably 10 o'clock tomorrow night, California, Pacific time. And then we'll drive down. So probably get to the hotel, hopefully, by about midnight or so.
How long are you there?
Just till Wednesday. And then we have basically have a red eye Wednesday night and get back to Asheville around 9 a.m. on Thursday.
Okay.
With all time changes and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, I'm sorry for the circumstance, but God, I love California.
California's great.
It's so nice there.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I booked my Berlin flight today.
Hey.
So booked my first class ticket out and back. $10,000 later. Thankfully, I have work basically that pays for that and the other podcast. But
there you go.
Yeah,
that's good.
I definitely there's no way I first of all I would want to pay that much for a ticket going one way, but if work's paying for it, of course. But It's almost, for me, it's almost like mandatory at this point. If I'm flying more than like 6 hours, like I need a better seat than like
Sure.
coach. It's just not happening anymore.
Ah,
A
that's
man of my
fair.
advanced age can't be sitting in the back.
I know. I drove, let's see. So the drive to Tyler from my house is 943 miles. And the drive I kind of split it, but I mean, 13 and a half hours. I did about 11 hours the first day. I
A
got
long day.
to just west of Texarkana, Texas, on the first day. Yeah, it is a long day, but like you, I can't sit in one spot. So anytime I stopped and got gas, I mean, it was one of those, okay, I need to walk around for 5-10 minutes because um my body just stiffens up and all that. And I've had blood clot issues in the
Hmm.
past, believe it or not. And I'm like, okay, I can't repeat this. And it's not like I have somebody traveling with me this time. So I got to be really careful. But yeah, you just stiffen up and like you get out of the car and it's just like, holy crap, you can't even move.
Hmm.
And and it's like unfolding. It's just so weird. It's like, God, when did I get this old? How did this happen? you know?
Time
So
flies. That's how.
yeah, I know. It does. It does. So yeah, sitting in coach for a good amount of time, I can only imagine
Yeah.
how rough
I
that
ain't,
would
I ain't
be.
doing that.
So nah,
I ain't about
no.
that.
Well,
It's a long
yeah, well,
flight too. I think it's like I go from Asheville to Atlanta to Amsterdam to Berlin. And so I have like 2 or 3 connections basically. It's basically what I did last year as well. And the Atlanta to Amsterdam flight is kind of middle of day. And so this time, instead of like last time, I think I landed at like 11 a.m. And
okay.
I got to Berlin around 11 a.m. was kind of like what it was. But I was so dead tired at that point. Like I kind of feel like I wasted the day. So now I'm not getting until like 5 p.m. ish.
Uh-huh.
And I'll feel better about, okay, let me just go to bed. And then, because I'm not going to sleep well on the plane, get the first night out, and then hopefully be back up and running. So I'll leave Friday, land Saturday, and
Uh-huh.
hopefully by Sunday, Monday, the time change will be kind of caught up. And then I've got conference stuff, I think Tuesday through Thursday or Friday, and then I'll leave on Saturday. And I'm actually coming straight home. So I'm just going out there for that and not doing any sightseeing other than what's in Berlin that week.
So how many hours ahead are they? Is it like
I want to
7,
say
8,
6.
6? Okay. So they're 6 hours ahead, and it's how long from Atlanta to Amsterdam? That's
It's about 7 hours, I think.
7. Okay, so you're looking at a 13-hour flip there.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Like a full half day. Yeah, that would be, how long does it take you to adjust? Is that a day recovery or
Last time it took me a couple days.
uh
But I think, hopefully this time will go better. And I don't sleep well on planes. If anything, I might doze slightly, but
uh
um, my plan is land, find something to eat, get to
sure.
the hotel, find something to eat, and then pretty much crash for the night. And then
Chill.
just, Sunday is just kind of like a whatever day, sleep all
Yeah.
day if I need to, and then hopefully start to get caught up at that point.
What's worse, going there or coming back?
Uh, I don't know.
Because it's like going there, you lose time, but coming back, I guess you lose a little bit of time, but not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose 5 or 6 hours
Yeah.
time difference wise. I think
Yeah.
the total flight durations are like, or the total trip is like 15 hours, including like, layover and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like going backwards in time
Okay. So
is,
coming back.
yeah, coming back is probably harder only because it technically makes the day longer.
Yeah, because let's see. So if it's a 6-hour time difference and it's a 7-hour flight, you only really lose an hour.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But if I go forward, I'm losing basically almost an entire day.
Right.
Yeah, which
Exactly.
is fine.
So yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And when is this trip?
May 16th or something like that.
Okay, so
So
about 2
coming up.
months.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
couple months away, but
be here before you know it.
yeah, yeah, and I'll be flying solo, so heading out there. And last time my wife met me in Berlin, and we went to Amsterdam, which was awesome.
Yeah, I
Just
remember.
decided that she didn't want to come this time, stay home. We got other trips that have kind of been planned, including maybe a trip to Mallorca in January for work. So
Where's that?
Mallorca is an island off the coast of Spain.
Oh,
Yeah. And so one of our international companies has invited, me and my other co-host to come out there and be part of that. So I'm like, all right, well, if you guys are paying, sure, we'll come out.
Mallorca.
Yeah.
Island off of Spain. That
Yeah.
sounds
And
awesome.
so, she was like, okay, definitely doing that.
If you're gonna pick and choose, I guess if I would go for that as well. Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
be sweet, man.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the plan. And then I got Vegas a couple weeks after that. So all kinds of stuff.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, international traveler, world traveler. I love it. It's good.
Yeah, I get around. Mostly US, but every
I know,
once in a
but
while I get to go international. It's always fun.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. So, did you watch any of? I doubt you did. But did you catch any of the World Baseball Classic? Otherwise, kind of like the World Cup of baseball. Did you watch any of that?
No, I don't have any live TV, so I don't even know where it would have been.
Okay, it's interesting. So the U.S. made it to the finals, and they lost to Venezuela of all countries in the finals.
I did hear
And
that. Yeah. 3-2,
yeah,
was it?
3-2. What is it? Bryce Harper. They were down. The U.S. was getting shut out into the 8th inning by Venezuela. Bryce Harper comes up, hits a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 8th, and somehow, some way, Venezuela scratched a run across in the 9th, and the U.S. just couldn't do anything. So Venezuela, the first time that they've ever won that tournament. I guess this is the 6th World Baseball Classic that's gone on. I think it happens every 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. And this is the first time they had ever been to the final, let alone won it. So yeah, pretty cool. And you know, some of these countries, it's very interesting. And these guys, when you see, I don't know if you get into like international competition, like Olympics, World Cup soccer,
No.
baseball, that kind of thing. I'll tell you what, man, these athletes get into this, and when they win it, it's like some of the guys and teams said, I'd rather win this than the World Series. And I was like, holy cow, it's a pretty big deal. And I mean, winning this thing brought some of these athletes to tears, and it just, really said something. And it was kind of interesting when somebody said, well, it's kind of, appropriate that Venezuela beat the U.S., seeing as how the U.S. came in and took Venezuela's leader out of the country and all that stuff. It's just interesting and all that. But I just want to say hats off to Venezuela. They have a lot of major league talent on their team, which is pretty cool. And yeah, congrats to them. So that's awesome. Kind of a choke job, honestly, by the U.S., but
No, that's why you play the games, right?
that's why they play the games. So yeah, so that just ended. And then we got opening day for Major League Baseball. I believe it's next this coming Wednesday or Thursday. So baseball is upon us. I'm sorry, Jeff, but it is.
That's fine. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's fine. We've gone through one season already.
Yeah.
As the FOJ show, so it'll be fine.
We'll survive.
Yeah.
There will be no gambling on the season this year. I have put the gambling away 100%. It's not a retirement plan anymore. It's not a second income anymore. It's I've just chosen to enjoy my sports, and that's it.
All right. Well, that's probably good sound.
And I think it's a smart move, and I would advise others to do that as well.
Okay.
So there's my PSA for for today's pod. Stop gambling. It's not good for you. It's a losing proposition.
I mean, man, it's too late. Gambling's taken over. It's everywhere now. Like you
It
can't
really
just Individuals, should be able to stop, but it's too ingrained in every sport now that that Pandora's box has already been opened and there's no stuffing it back in unless something catastrophic happens, meaning some major controversy, drama, something where it's like, nope, we can't do this anymore. Somebody ruins it for everybody.
Well, yeah. What did we talk about? Was it Kalshi?
Kalshi. Yep.
Kalshi.
They've had some troubles already.
Good. Well, good. They should. I think that's. I did look at it. I didn't look into doing it or anything, but I did take a look at it after we talk about it. Talk about ridiculous. I mean, talk about something that you could really ruin your life on. Is that?
Yeah.
That is stupid, in my opinion.
Well, Kalshi has been blocked in Nevada, so even Nevada is like, we're not doing that.
Interesting.
They had some issues. One of the things you could bet on was the Ayatollah in Iran, if he would finish his first term, and that caught a whole bunch of controversy because somebody bet no with a lot of different, with a lot of money, and then, the Iran strikes happened. So clearly there's insider dealing happening. Taking place. And I think we kind of talked about this last time, but like that's the kind of stuff where it's just like it's not fair to anybody already. Like the house always wins, but you're just taking money from people who really can't afford it and giving it to the people who can.
Yeah, I think and there's some funny stories out there. Like, what is it? There was a guy who ran on the field for the Super Bowl as a fan. Yeah, did you hear about that?
And he did it for the.
Yeah, he placed a bet, and I guess the fine was significantly less than the winnings on the bet, so it was well worth it. So when I hear stuff like that, I do laugh because it's like, yeah, somebody's beating the system. I could appreciate something like that. A little bit of a risk, but I think I think that kind of stuff is funny. But yeah, for me, it was not a winning deal. And it's not like I lost my ass in it or anything like that, but it's like, you know what, this isn't fun. This isn't enjoyable. So I got out of it.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Now you can just enjoy the game as a spectator, as an analyst.
Yes.
All that stuff.
That's right. Kind of along the same reason why I got out of fantasy football for the most part. I mean, I got back into it, but I didn't pay near as much attention to fantasy football this year as I have in years past, back when we played, 20 years ago or something like that. So I feel good about that. I had my fantasy draft for baseball that I've been doing with a bunch of work guys for like the past 8 years. And that's fun, but it's just for fun. There's no money. It's just for bragging rights and things like that. So I'll handle that kind of thing, but yeah, full on gambling is no good. So
that's good.
So the Bears, some interesting times for the Bears. I don't know if you've been following.
It's been a couple weeks. They've made some moves. I know you and I have texted a couple times around this. Where do you want to start? I don't remember what we've discussed, what we haven't already.
Well, okay. Obviously, we talked about the Dahlman retirement, and I think everybody's kind of over that, and we're past that. We replaced him, maybe not with a guy that's as good, but I think they replaced him with somebody that is good enough and was affordable. They're not going to pay the Tyler Linderbaum money that he got in wherever it is he went. With 3 years, $81 million for a center. I think that's outrageous. But I think they did okay there. Still looking for a left tackle. I know they re-signed Braxton Jones. I don't think that's who they would like to start. But
he's a Band-Aid, right, to cover up for the injury.
I think it's one of those things. If they have to, they will. They might find somebody in the draft. I think they're done free agency wise for the most part. They signed Kobe Bryant, which I like. I think you liked.
I like Devin Bush.
They like Devin Bush.
I like the speed.
That move as
well.
That
was like the big problem, and he's a fast linebacker, baby.
Yeah, and a depth signing that they just did the other day. They brought back Jack Sanborn.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, on a 1-year deal. And for depth, I liked Sanborn when he played. He was always in and around the football, and I think that's a guy that they can depend on for some depth. And not really knowing what T.J. Edwards is going to look like next year, but and bringing back DeMarco Jackson, who has speed as well, and maybe Ruben Hippolyte takes a step and we find out what kind of linebacker he really is. And they might be okay there. So, see.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, they didn't solve for the defensive line and a pass rush, so hopefully they get that in the draft.
No, I know they signed what? A defensive tackle. Actually, I think they signed 2 defensive
Neville
tackles.
Gallimore is a defensive tackle, and then they also got Daniel Hardy.
They re-signed Daniel Hardy.
Contavious Street.
Street is the guy I was thinking of. They have him. They signed, was it Cam Lewis? Who's
Cam Lewis corner.
They also have that, what's his name, Za Frazier, who they drafted last year but didn't play. I guess he had some off the field stuff that he had to take care of, but they really like him apparently. So they let CJ go, they let Brisker go, they let Byard
They turned over almost the entire secondary, man, except for Jalen.
Yeah. But the more you look at it, their defense as a whole wasn't ranked all that high. I know obviously Byard led the league in interceptions. Oh, Nashawn Wright's the other one they let go.
Yep.
But all of these dudes, I think all 4 of them only got 1-year deal.
Yeah.
So it's not like they were huge free agent pickups. So it's like, okay, maybe letting those guys go isn't that big a deal because, I think they were like, what, 23rd or 22nd against the run and like 29th or 30th against the pass. They were horrible.
Yeah, but I think you and I texted on this. It was like, look, I get it. They let people walk away, but nobody got signed really for money that was like crazy money. Like they all got, I thought, like were, okay, reasonable contracts. I feel like the Bears let them walk. And, I think it texted you, it's like, all right, now we're starting over again. It's a whole new secondary again. Instead of having, at least a year underneath this, defensive regime with Dennis Allen, now you're teaching, 5, 6, 7 guys that are on starters, that are supposed to be starters, the defense again.
Yeah, but based on the return that you got last year, is that necessarily a bad thing? Do you think they would have improved by, their...
I mean, they had some injuries that would certainly help.
They did.
In the secondary.
Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, those guys, a full healthy year definitely would upgrade a little bit.
Let's say they don't turn over the secondary, and maybe they only sign Devin Bush, which I think would be a big upgrade at linebacker for them, speed-wise anyway.
Yes, 100%.
I think, and let's say they made more focus on the defensive line, and they went out and did a Trey Hendrickson or a Max Crosby deal. I think you can get away with that secondary that they have, especially since they were such ball hawks and they were schemed appropriately.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've talked about what's one way to make your secondary better: improve the pass rush.
Right,
definitely.
But they didn't do that. What they did was they said, okay, well, we're going to basically trade secondaries. I don't know what money looks like between let's call it like their starting corners, nickelback, and 2 safeties. Right, those 5 players. I don't know what we're paying for the current 5 that we have and the 5 we had last year, but I have a feeling it's probably pretty close.
Well, okay, they gave Kobe Bryant 3 years, $42 million.
Okay,
so that's $14 million a year. Jalen Johnson is in the middle of one of the bigger cornerback deals in football, or at least it was when he signed it. I'm not sure what he's making now, but it's a pretty expensive deal.
He's got an average of $19 million.
Okay. Kyler Gordon, I know they extended him, which tells me that he probably makes pretty decent money.
He's at $13 million a year.
Okay. They still have Tyreek Stevenson. They get Terrell Smith back. He was out all of last year. He was supposed to be like their number 3 corner. Like I said, they have Za Frazier, who's on a rookie deal, who they like. You're probably looking at a safety in the draft. At least I hope so. Because I don't want to. I know they re-signed Elijah Hicks, but he's not a starter. He's a depth piece, but I think you're looking for a potential starting safety in the draft. I think safety has become a high priority.
Yeah, their only other safety. Well, it's funny. They have Jalen Jones listed as safety.
Yeah, they brought him back as well. That's right. But again, I don't know if he's a starter.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, they have like a bunch of like Jalen Jones, Adrian Colbert, Various Owens. Like Dominique Hampton. Like these are like, Douglas Coleman, who's making $795,000 a year. That must be the league minimum.
I don't know who those dudes are.
Like these are all like, nobodies basically.
Yeah, they let Jonathan Owens go, so we won't be seeing.
Which is
Simone
fine.
Biles.
I don't think he was that great either.
He was a special team guy, and special teams was solid, but you can find that in other places,
But I don't. What I'm saying is, I don't think they got better in the secondary. I think they just swapped.
I agree, and I think they're hoping that maybe some new faces makes them better. On the surface, you're right. I don't think they got significantly better. I have a friend of mine who hated the Kobe Bryant signing.
Kobe Bryant makes the same amount of money as Kyler Gordon.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I thought he was pretty good. I mean, you play on a Super Bowl winning defense, you're probably pretty good. But we'll see. It is going to look drastically different. But yes, pass rush. I mean, hopefully they get one in the draft. Supposedly edge is pretty deep in this class. Booker hopefully takes another step. I think he played 10 games, and I don't know how many sacks he had, but it was 4 or 5, maybe 6. I don't know. But if he takes a step and they get that guy they drafted from A&M last year, Shamar Turner, if he's healthy, they've got guys. It's just a matter of can one of them do anything? Can Dio give them anything? Supposedly he's motivated, so we'll see.
Well, that changes everything. You're motivated, so I guess you're going to be great.
I was hoping he'd be motivated enough to be traded, but I guess that obviously the rest of the league either wasn't interested or the Bears really like him for some reason. So yeah, I think with obviously a Crosby deal's probably not going to happen. And hey, if the guy's got a knee issue, maybe it should.
Maybe it's for the best. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but still, I feel like there's other. I don't know, man. Like the defensive line was clearly was a big thing to solve for. I think
100%.
Maybe the Drew Dahlman retirement caused problems with trying to fix that because they were like, oh shit, we can't, we can't let that happen. Again, maybe that causes some issues. But it just feel like everybody knows they have to get better on the D line. They have to get more pressure on the quarterback, and they haven't done anything to address that yet.
Right. It's hopefully coming in the draft. It has to if it's going to come at all.
What are they picking? Like 25th, like the end of the first round. Like the odds of getting an impact starter at that late in the draft at that position is extremely unlikely.
Yeah, I agree.
So here we are again with theoretically another year where we can't get to the quarterback.
Right.
And it's not like our secondary got better. Theoretically, on paper, I think it's just a swap.
It got different.
Right. But it's not like, oh shit, now we've got 2 lockdown corners and a safety.
Right.
Like, they're going to throw. And I like Jalen Johnson, but he got beat last year a bunch of times.
I still wonder if he came back too early.
Maybe. But he was out there. And if you're out there, you get judged by the results of the play, and he got burned a few times.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But I think, people were like, well, Nahshon Wright, he had he had like 5 picks and all that, but in coverage, he was shit.
Yeah.
He sucked in coverage. He was
sometimes
bad.
Better be lucky than good.
Right. That's what
But that's part of the reason why you don't let those people go, because they're familiar with they're familiar with the game plan and their role in the defense. And so now we've got to teach it to like 6 new guys that are probably starting on defense.
But if they can't fill the role the way you want it to, then I'm okay with giving another shot. I'm sorry. Their window of real opportunity is Caleb's rookie contract. And he's now in his 3rd year. So you basically have 2 more years before you've got to start paying Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze some money. So you've got 2 years to basically figure this out, and there's your window. And then after that, we'll see. You also have to figure out, okay, you've let DJ Moore go. And I think I was okay with that. And I don't remember if you were or not, but
yeah, I'm fine with it.
They've got, with Loveland and Odunze and Burden, and I'm sure they'll probably grab another receiver, maybe middle rounds of the draft or whatever. But DJ, he was pretty decent. So there's some production to replace there. But I think that you have a chance for Loveland and maybe Odunze to go over 1,000 yards this year, which would be awesome.
Yeah, that's what we talked about last year. Was there a lot of mouths to feed? And I think we
Yeah.
saw that bear out in the stats. Was a lot of people with like 6 and 700 yards, and like some between 40 and 60 catches because there's so many different people,
Right.
that are open. Which that's tough to game plan against as well when you've got 5, 6 quality receivers that you can kind of throw to. Now they've got one less. And Rome is now their number one, right?
Right.
So let's see if he steps up. There's a lot of number 2s who think they're number 1 that aren't.
Yeah. I mean, we tend to forget that, he's a number 9 overall pick. So it's like he's got to play like a number 9 overall
yeah,
pick.
yeah. Do you think they're better now than they were last year on paper? Or is it the same team?
I'm going to say, just on paper, I think at best it's the same team.
Yeah, I think it's a wash. Like I didn't see anything that was like, they're significantly better now because of this.
No, I think at best it's a watch because I think you haven't replaced DJ yet if you're going to do that, or if you're just going to send his production somewhere else in the offense, which is fine. We don't know if the replacement for Dahlman is going to be as good.
Right.
We don't know who's going to play left tackle still. I mean, it sucks that Ozzy's injured and is going to miss all of next year, but left tackle's a big deal, and there's a big question last year. And now here just like the defensive line, edge rusher, left tackle is a question again. Center is a question again. So, and then you've, like you said, you've swapped names out in the secondary. So I think at the very best, they're the same. We'll have to see. And now you're playing a much tougher schedule. So you could, I mean,
they had a hard schedule last year too, didn't they?
They did, but not like it is this year. I mean, you could see regression record-wise and them being a quote-unquote better looking team, but the competition they're playing, they don't play Cleveland. They don't play Cincinnati. They don't play, the Giants this year. They play Seattle. They play, playoff teams that are going to give them fits. And again, Caleb has to keep ascending to what the QB needs to be for them to be successful. So we'll see.
Yeah. So what did we get done this offseason so far? Nothing? Or just stayed neutral and we plugged an emergency hole because of the Dahlman retiring? That's pretty much it?
Yeah, I think you've kind of put some Band-Aids on and you hope that those Band-Aids heal and become better than what you had. But there's nothing guaranteed, that's for sure.
Right.
You didn't necessarily upgrade anything in the offseason. The only thing you may have upgraded, actually that's not true. The only thing is your linebacker with Devin Bush, but that's really it.
And that was not a groundbreaking move that was like shook the NFL.
No, I mean that's a guy who
it was a good, smart move, but
yeah, that's a guy who had a really good year in Cleveland, trying to resurrect his career. I mean, he was a top draft pick when he came out of college, and you're hoping to find kind of lightning in a bottle with him. And hey, he had a really good year with Cleveland. Hopefully, it turns into something long term for the Bears. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
All right, here we go again.
Yeah, and now, you're playing against Jared Goff again. You're playing against Jordan Love again, and now you're probably having to deal with Kyler Murray with a real quarterback coach. So it would be interesting to see what that team looks like. I think Kyler Murray in Minnesota is going to be significantly better than Kyler Murray in Arizona, personally.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, I mean, he's got Jefferson and Addison and Hawkinson and, all those guys. And plus he's got a real coach who knows how to coach quarterbacks, although, JJ didn't really benefit from that. But I don't know. I never thought much of JJ to begin with, but that's just me.
JJ done in Minnesota? Do you think do you think he starts?
No. No,
They
I
signed
don't.
Kyler to be the starter.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
I mean, I think so too. But
No,
we'll see what happens in the preseason. But I'm assuming Kyler went there with sort of the wink, wink, nod, nod that he would be the starter.
Yeah, I think JJ. I don't know. He might have a decent career in the NFL. I think JJ could be, honest to God, on a Mitchell Trubisky type career.
Trajectory, yeah.
Yeah, he might be, and it might happen.
I mean,
for
he beat
him
the Bears
earlier.
last year, so
yeah, right. And it might happen for JJ earlier than it did for Mitch, because Mitch obviously started in Chicago and then moved on, but to be a backup. But I think JJ, he'd probably be a backup in the NFL for a good 10, 12 years. Sure, why not?
Not bad for a first round pick, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a bust. If he's a backup, he's a bust.
Yeah, I agree. But he could be a Chase Daniel Hall of Famer at the bank. Who knows?
Yeah, he could be Case Keenum making $48 million or $24 million or whatever he got signed up for this year as a backup quarterback.
I was going to say, backup QBs make pretty good money. So,
yeah. And all you really have to be good at is reading.
Yeah, exactly. And talking up the starter when he gets down on himself. That's really it.
Uh-huh.
Guys like Chase Daniel and Carson Wentz and Kirk Cousins, guys like them have it pretty good.
Not to change gears, but I'm going to. I looked up on Polymarket Chicago Bears predictions and odds. So Polymarket is similar to Kalshi, right? Same type of deal. You can bet on anything. And the top prediction and odd right now is: will the Chicago Bears leave Illinois by December 31st of this year?
I'm gonna say no.
You say no. Well, the market has 67%. Is that they? Well, that they. Hold on a second. I got to make sure I read this right. Man, it's changing like literally by the second.
Yeah, right.
47% chance that they leave, so it's 50-50.
I think the whole Indiana thing is leverage and a ploy.
I think so
they
too.
wind.
I hope so.
I hope so too. I think they wind up in Arlington Heights, and that's the end of it. And I think they'll have a deal in place probably before the season begins. I would hope.
Okay. Here's another prediction market. Pro Football 2027 NFC champion will be. They have the Rams at 17%, Seattle Seahawks at 16%, the Niners at 9%, Green Bay at 9%, a bunch of 8s, the Bears at 7% chance. So right now, the favorites are the Rams and the Seahawks to win the NFC again.
That's fair.
Cardinals, 1%.
That's fair.
Let me think what else. Prediction, Tyreek Hill. They think he ends up in Kansas City. The Packers as the NFC North champion.
Okay.
Packers right now are sitting at 42%. The Bears are at 22%.
Interesting. Okay, so outside of the home and homes with the division guys, here's who they play. They had to play at Miami. They played Jacksonville at home, Seattle, at Atlanta, at Buffalo, at Carolina, Patriots at home, Jets at home, Eagles at home, and Buccaneers at home.
Yeah, they got playoff teams that played.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think one of those games is actually international, if I'm not mistaken. But I just looked up their opponents. I didn't look up the actual schedule. But I
don't think the schedule is posted yet because I don't think they've got the opponents listed.
It probably isn't. But I think, I think a 9-8, 8-9 is possible.
So if you go by Polymarket, the Bears and the Vikings will be battling for the last place in the division.
I don't think that's that far off, personally. I mean, look do you think Caleb's going to bring him back 7 times again this year? Odds are that doesn't happen.
Right.
There was a lot of as well as they played, And as well as things went, there was a lot of luck in,
Yeah.
in
Oh,
last
I
year's
mean,
season,
it
you
was all the
know?
games that they've lost historically.
Yeah,
They won those, and you know, s- the law of averages will come back.
exactly.
So they've lost them
Exactly.
all. Now they've won them all, and then they'll probably end up somewhere in the middle again. Where it's like some of those games they'll pick up, some they'll lose, and that's it.
Well, I mean, Ben Johnson said it best. He said, "Hey, this group is special, and this group will never be together again."
Yeah.
And he was right.
Well, we
So
traded half that defense too,
that's
or
right.
not traded, but
So
we let half the defense walk off the door.
yeah.
I don't know. I
So
just feel like we haven't done like we've been in neutral all off season.
yeah, they're kind of spinning their wheels.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Okay, free agency is basically over. Now let's see what they pick up in the draft, and then you could really try and piece it together and see what we got. So
Yep.
I think the draft is what, late April,
Yeah, something like that.
something like that. So we have a couple weeks.
We lost Chuck Norris.
Yeah, I had no idea that he was ill. I didn't
I haven't heard
know.
of him in a long time. I frankly was shocked he was still alive. But yeah,
86.
yeah.
I remember him obviously from, what is it, Delta Force. I remember him from what was that TV show he was on forever?
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Walker, Texas Ranger,
Yep.
and I remember the Total Gym commercials with him and Christy Brinkley. Mostly remember those for Christy Brinkley, but I do know that he was the other celebrity in those. So yeah, 86 years old.
What did he pass from?
I'm not sure.
No idea.
I
I saw
remember
the headline that he passed away. And I
I
was like, okay.
I got a text yesterday from a coworker
Oh, a
saying,
sudden passing is what he was listed as. So who knows?
"Oh wow." Well, so I mean, obviously the guy was in tremendous shape. So
Well, you're 86. That's
yeah,
also,
he lived a pretty good life.
yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, he passed away in Hawaii following a sudden medical emergency.
So maybe a heart attack or stroke or something.
Maybe he's a 10th degree black belt. Wow.
Yeah. And he founded his own like version of some martial art, Korean martial art. I don't know if it
Yeah.
was Taekwondo or something else, but it was like his flavor that he brought to the
Yeah.
US and like customized.
Yeah. Seemed like pretty down to earth, easygoing guy. So rest in peace, Chuck Norris. Trying to think what
All right.
else
Well,
happened.
you have a baseball game to go to, don't you?
I do. We're playing.
You're playing at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's our last tune-up. This is the adult league that I coach. We have tune-up at 9 o'clock tonight, and opening day is April 12th. So yeah, we're trying to get one more. Now tonight's game is inside because we played a couple games. I think I told you this a couple weeks ago, and it was
It was freezing. Yeah.
freezing. So tonight will be inside, so that'll be fun. I practiced with the kids earlier today, and I practice with the kids again tomorrow. And ironically, their opening day is that same weekend on April 10th, which is a Friday. So we play a tournament there for those guys. So they start pretty much at the same time. I spent my day today kind of putting motion sensor lights all around my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
So when we let the dogs out, we can see them. I
Yep.
had a couple out there before, but the yard just needs more. They needed more, and you buy them cheap at Menards or whatever. So I put up like there's two that are sitting on a porch. I put two in the back and then two on each on posts on
Mm-hmm.
each side yard. So I've got total motion censored solar powered lights out
Nice.
there. So hopefully that's gonna make sure the dogs are behaving and stuff. They love to bark at everything.
Any
So
run-ins with a neighbor?
no, none at all.
Okay.
So hopefully that's behind us,
Hopefully.
which is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny. So Jeremy and his girlfriend tried to take all three of them for a walk at the same time.
They're
And
not small dogs.
no, they're roughly about 60 pounds apiece. and they can be pretty active. So Morgan, who is Jeremy's girlfriend, took Peppy, and Jeremy had the other two, Tux and Charlie. So I was home at the time, so I called Jeremy while they were out on the walk. I'm like, hey, have you fed them? Because if not, I was gonna, make them dinner and all that stuff and have it ready for them when they got home. And he said, nope, haven't fed them. We'll be home in a minute. I'm never doing this again. I'm like, whoa. So I'm like, okay.
Uh-huh.
So about 4 minutes later, they walk in the door, and apparently they just were pulling and tugging and winding and getting tangled, and then they would bark at people and bark at people in their own garages and all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, oh my God. So apparently Peppy was fine. Peppy was fine. It's the boys. The boys are the culprits here, which doesn't shock me at all. So yesterday, Joshua said, all right, I'm going to take them all on a walk, but I'm going to take them one at a time. Take them each around the block, but by themselves. So I was here when he did it. First off, whenever he would take one, the other two were like, what in the world is going on? Where did that dog go? What's going on? Why didn't I go with? Just a total out of sorts. It was just like, their worlds were completely messed up. But he ranked in order. Charlie was the best, Peppy was second, and Tux is just apparently a nightmare to walk because he barks at everything, he pulls, he tugs, he just and
sounds like he needs some training.
He does. And Michelle and I were talking about it the other night. We're like, it's not that he's a bad dog. He's not bad. The dog is just he's just super excited. I mean, I know he, kind of gave you the business when you were here. He just is into everything. He barks. Everything catches his attention, but he loves to tackle you, but he loves to come up on you. And it's because he's just happy to see you and all that stuff. We just got to find a way to give that dog a sedative because he needs to calm down. But, yeah, so we got to work with him on that. But,
you ever think about getting a trainer? Or doing some actual training exercise. I mean, go on YouTube and find some stuff, but on-leash training and sort of obedience training and trying to. I mean, it takes a lot of work, but the quality of life down the road will be better.
We need to do something. So I think that we'll figure out what to do and definitely incorporate something. But obviously, what we do for him, we probably need to do for all three because I think it'd just be easier. I could be wrong on that. I don't know, but would definitely need to do something for him. The other two, pretty good, but when Tux is around, that means they're all a little bit wild and out of sorts and stuff. So, but what's good is it's not like they chew shoes, they don't chew stuff, they don't do any of that. They just are they like to run around, and then they hear, like, they'll be sleeping in our family room on the couches, and one little thing, boom, up and screaming, barking loud. They run to the front door and nobody's there. I don't know what the hell they heard, but they just go bananas over the littlest stuff, which is, I don't want to say it's bad. It's annoying, if anything, because then they'll see nothing and then they'll come trotting back into the living room, back up on the couch, and then they're asleep in like the next 30 seconds. But they're the dogs, whatever.
Well, ours are going to be. They're doing good. She's getting bigger, and she's still daddy's girl. So very excited, very clingy. We've got a stage 4 clinger who likes to, doesn't like it when we leave, and so we've got a person come in to stay overnights with them here in kind of next couple days. But I expect a shit show when we leave and when we arrive.
Yeah,
of her just being crazy.
Yeah. Now, when you guys leave, like if you're both gone during the day, do you lock them up?
Only Pepper. Pepper needs to be in the crate still because she's still too young. Don't trust her to be out, but the other two are fine by themselves. They just kind of sleep for the most part. For a while, we did the cages and we still have them, but now we relegate the 3 of them to the kitchen. We've got gates, and that way they can walk around. We actually have 2 of the cages we put in the kitchen, so if they want, they can go lay down. We actually have
dog bed that we'll put in there that they can lay down on and stuff. So we've kind of graduated from the cages a little bit to just the kitchen, and they seem to be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably not doing a whole lot of stuff while you're gone, so.
No, apparently we have a Shell. She bought a camera that she actually, can watch while she's at work, and just shoots in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So she does that, but really a lot of what they do is just look out the back door.
Yeah, probably watching for squirrels or birds or just motion.
Yeah. Or they'll go into one of the cages and sleep.
Yeah.
Or on the dog bed.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
That's pretty much how it goes here too. It's they're excited and trying to figure something out for the first couple of minutes, and then they just kind of settle down and do whatever.
Yeah.
And we have a camera too that points at like Pepper's great when we're gone, and she howls and whines and stuff like that, and then check back in a couple minutes, and she's sleeping, in her crate or just chilling. We give her toys to play with too, so
that's cool.
That kind of stuff.
Nice.
All right, well, let's get you to your baseball game.
Yeah, 9:00 game. I wish it wasn't so late, but it'll still be fun.
Yeah.
Hey, it beats a few weeks ago when we played at like 11, and that was
11:00 at night.
Ugh. 11:00 at night. I think the last one we did, I got home after closing down the dome and all that stuff. I think I got home at like 2:30 in the morning.
That's late.
That is late. My body doesn't do that anymore. Not usually.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but usually I'm usually in bed by 10. And then I'll fart around on my phone for a little bit, but I'm usually asleep by 10:30, 10:45.
I'm usually somewhere around 11:30.
Okay.
11:30 midnight. But I also don't have a commute or anything, so it's like unless I'm traveling, and then it's like then your schedule just goes crazy. But if I'm home, it's sometime between 11 and 12, and then up at 7 or 8.
Yeah, I got to go to Wisconsin next week for 2 days. So that'll be an overnight. That'll be interesting. I got to go to Madison, and then to
Madison's a cool town.
Madison is a cool town. And then I got to go to the military base just north of Baraboo on Wednesday for a military audit of our warehouse.
Mm.
Yeah,
well, good luck.
That's going to be interesting. Luckily, it's not on me, but I do have to be there. It's a 3-day deal. I only have to be there for one of the days, but it's going to be interesting to watch this because the government is super anal about the food they buy and the food they serve the soldiers, which they should be. I totally understand it. I totally get it. So this will be interesting.
Well, good luck with that.
Appreciate it.
That's all this week?
That's I gotta go to Madison on Tuesday. I'm probably gonna stay overnight, and then I'm gonna drive to Baraboo Tuesday night, stay overnight there, and then I'll be in the Baraboo warehouse all day Wednesday and come home Wednesday night.
Wow. Well, good luck.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Have fun with that.
Yeah. Well, it's my first one, so it'll be cool. It's the first time that warehouse has been audited, I think, since like 2017. So yeah, it could be interesting.
Well, look up some local joints, see what you can find on the culinary side. I'm trying to think in Madison. It's not in Madison, but there was a sushi place. Where was it? Appleton, I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure how close that is to Madison. I want to say it's probably not super close, but there was a really good sushi place that was in that area. No, not Appleton. Stevens Point. Let's see.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's not even close. Madison is not close to that.
Stevens Point is the former home of Rusty's Road Night Amber, brewed for Chili's.
Is it?
Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Yes.
Oh, well, it's also the home of Century Insurance, which was a client of mine a long time ago. So
there you go.
And also a sushi place that we discovered in a strip mall. That was fantastic.
Well, I'll be visiting on Tuesday. I got to go see the owners of a new restaurant opening called Original Steak and Hoagies. So I'm going to check that out for sure.
Okay. Well, if you're ever in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, go check out Matsuya. It's a really good little sushi place in a strip mall. It was fantastic.
Matsuya. All right. Matsuya. There you go.
Yep.
Nice.
All right, man. Well, enjoy the game. Good luck with the travels.
Yeah. Safe travels to you and all the best to Barb and her family. I'm sorry for why you're going, but I'm sure it'll be good to see everyone. So
yeah,
try to enjoy a little bit anyway.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Everybody has to go through it.
I know, but
yep. All right, man. I will
dude.
talk to you in a few days.
I'll talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
See ya.